Tampa Bay tonight for what really is going to look like a playoff preview, guys, at the home of Super Bowl 55. Raymond James Stadium will play host as Aaron Donald and a dominant Rams defense takes on Tom Brady and the Bucs. We know Aaron Donald, he's got something to prove, right? Brady is the only quarterback he's faced multiple times without a sack or a win. We'll see if he'll be able to take down TB12 tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome into Monday Night Tailgate. Wow, what a Week 11 it was. Capped off with another great one just ahead in a few minutes. Hang out with us for the next half an hour. We'll lead you right up to kickoff. I'm Diana Rossini alongside Jason Fitz and Field Yates in Studio E in Bristol, Connecticut. Field, what's going on? Where's Fitz?
Yeah, Diana, it's just me for right now. A little bit odd, but I guess we could.
Field, Diana, last night we laid The Undertaker to rest in peace.
So now let's talk some Monday Night Football.
All right, we start off weird. It's exactly how we like to keep it here. A little uncomfortable for those watching, but of course we're celebrating the retirement of The Undertaker after a 30-year career. And Fitz, I know you're this gigantic wrestling fan, so for you your heart must hurt a little bit here.
Anytime you get to see somebody for that long, but there is sort of a level with the WWE, just like there is for NFL players. Like at some point, what you saw 20 years ago isn't necessarily what you see today. So I'm happy he had such an incredible run with such a massive stamp on that era, but I'm also happy that he walks away and we can start to remember some of the greatness.
The thing is, for me, like when I think of The Undertaker, I'm not like the biggest wrestling fan, but I think his use of the meme of The Undertaker is probably one of like the most popular NFL memes out there. Anytime any team comes back alive, I feel like that's the meme that goes out there. I remember the first time I saw it too, which is weird. Who remembers the first time they saw a meme? But I just remember Chris Long tweeted it when the Eagles were in the playoffs the year they went to the Super Bowl, of basically just saying like, we're back. You can't put us down. So obviously one of the best, the better ones out there. But that being said, guys, so we had so much good action this past weekend. So let's go through some of our favorite things from Sunday. So Fitz, you want to go first?
Well, I mean, we were talking about The Undertaker, and, obviously when you start talking about The Undertaker and that meme, let's also talk about Derek Carr putting out a little bit of an Undertaker smile here. Like, there was a moment, obviously, everybody knows my Raiders fandom. Last night was not an easy game to watch, but I do love the fact that Derek Carr can sort of laugh about it and have some fun. They're getting it up for us now. There you see Derek Carr doing his best Undertaker impersonation. And that's the level of intensity the Raiders brought last night. By the way, Field, they'll get him on the rematch. That's all I'm saying. One more time.
January, huh?
I'm calling it playoff battle.
Love it. Love it. Can I give my favorite thing from Sunday?
Yeah, what you got?
Okay, so for those that are unaware, Derrick Henry made history on Sunday, becoming the first player to ever have two separate rushing touchdowns in overtime to win a game in the same season. And if you go look at the next-gen stats depiction of this play, which Seth Walder, or one of our analytics gurus here at ESPN, tweeted, you can see that Derrick Henry literally handed the Ravens an L yesterday. He veers left, he cuts back right. When you replicate this or duplicate this on next-gen stats player tracker, it is an L. It was perfect. It was football harmony. Derrick Henry is my king. He is my king in fantasy football. He cannot be tackled. The Ravens right now do not seem, they're occupied, or their headspace is occupied by the Titans. The Titans are in their head. Not just the playoff win, which was, believe it or not, in 2020, which feels like about 13 years ago, but also again yesterday. The Titans get a huge win to keep pace in the AFC South, Diana.
And I feel like the Ravens really haven't been themselves since the Titans beat them last season in the playoffs. And yesterday was their opportunity to do that. And Field, sidebar, I think everyone has seen on Twitter what you just showed there, which was that L with the dots of how we can show different plays. I didn't realize that the reason why we do that is because sometimes we can't post the actual footage. So this is the way we've been able to get creative. I just found this out. I'm very excited about this information. Just the same excitement I have that I found out we have 24 ribs from last week. So just learning so much here on Monday Night Tailgate. It's just like nonstop knowledge here. All right, so guys, for me, for Sunday, we talk about Ravens-Titans. I like petty, which you guys are like friends of mine, so you know this. Like, I appreciate people who are just so comfortable being petty, whether it's on social media or in person. So yesterday we saw at the start of the Titans-Ravens game, John Harbaugh and Malcolm Butler get into it because the Ravens thought that the Titans were stepping on their logo. And from talking to some people there in the organization, they didn't even know what the logo meant. They didn't even know where it was. And none of this was intentional, but the fact that it almost turned into a bit of a brawl at the start of a game, I think that obviously set the tone. But then it also had everyone on Twitter yesterday thinking, all right, well, if the coaches being Mike Vrabel and John Harbaugh, are kind of up in each other's faces, a little animated, of all the head coaches in the league right now, if they were to step in a ring and brawl a little bit, do you guys think anyone could actually take down Vrabel?
I think Vrabel would be tough to take down. Though I'm going to give a little sneaky credit to Andy Reid in this one because I feel like Andy Reid wouldn't do the heavy lifting. He would come in and he'd just sort of get you happy and everybody laughed about it, and then all of a sudden his linchman would come in behind you and get it done. Like, I feel like he's got that sort of quality. Vrabel is huge and is fiery. I feel like I wouldn't want any of that matchup if I'm Harbaugh. If you're Harbaugh, just walk away from it, right, Field?
Diana, the question was answered by John Harbaugh himself because after the Ravens ate that L in overtime yesterday, Mike Vrabel went up and tried to give John Harbaugh a handshake. You know what Harbaugh did? He said, not happening. We got to focus on the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday night. He walked away. He knows you do not mess with Mike Vrabel. Everybody in the NFL knows that, although I will give some credit to Doug Marrone now. If you haven't seen Doug Marrone, he was an offensive lineman in his day, and he could probably still play offensive line in the NFL. It's a big man right there. I not want to mess with Doug Marrone.
Let me just play contrarian for a second, though. Like, through all of this, like, maybe Harbaugh should worry a little bit about his team actually beating the Titans instead of worrying about what they're walking on the field before they go. I'm just saying. But, Doug Marrone in this, Diana. You giving him a shot?
So I never really understood the size of Doug Marrone until I stood next to him in Indy at the Combine a couple years ago, which is where I also discovered while talking to him that he went to high school with my dad, so that was weird, but my dad is not that big. My dad's like up to his knee. But he's a gigantic human being. I actually posted on Instagram a picture of me next to him, and you can clearly see I'm like 5'7", and he's just a big dude, and he's loud. So I'm going to actually take Doug Marrone in this Royal Rumble. I think Vrabel would be scrappy, but I'm going to give this to Dougie. But that being said, guys, I say scrappy, and I think of Sean Payton being a little scrappy, and I talked about how much I loved petty. Yesterday, after the New Orleans Saints, with their new starting quarterback, Taysom Hill, get the win.
So good.
Sean Payton gives his post-game press conference, which usually lasts about 8 to 10 minutes, and no less than 2 minutes after he stepped off the podium, he retweets Roddy White's tweet, which was from like 4 or 5 days ago, saying that the Saints about to get whipped trying us with Taysom Hill at quarterback. We about to snack them. And he retweeted it, Field.
Diana, in an absolutely show-stopping week for Sean Payton, the man who had the gumption to play Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston and lived with zero regret, Sean Payton won many times on Sunday, most specifically with this tweet. I love it because what doesn't work well anymore is you go up there and you gloat and you showboat Instead, this was like a subtle, I'm listening to you, and I see it, Roddy. And it might take people a few minutes to recognize what happened, but once they do, it is going to be a thing of beauty. Sean Payton, I'm sorry, Mike Tomlin, but Sean Payton may have clinched Coach of the Year with that retweet yesterday. Just an absolutely marvelous show of sportsmanship from Sean Payton, who I actually think, really seriously, a ton of people owe an apology to, because a lot of people took this man to task. He's only one of the best offensive coaches we've seen in like 30 years, and the guy seems to know a thing or two about quarterback play. Yeah, we were reminded of that yesterday. Good on you, Sean Payton.
Okay, so with that being said, let's stick with the theme of tweets and get to a new segment. We can call it Tweet or Delete.
All
so
right.
we'll take a look at some tweets here, and then we'll take a look at some concepts and decide if we want to tweet or delete it. So, Diana, let's start with this Taysom Hill concept. Taysom Hill, the Saints franchise quarterback. Are you tweeting or are you deleting that?
This is another time where I wish Twitter had an edit button, because I would edit that up as he's the future quarterback, I think. I'm going to keep that tweet. Look, it was one game. It was against the Falcons. But I think we saw more ability from Taysom Hill in the pocket as a passer than we expected. I think he shows that he is a pocket passer who can also run versus a runner who needs to rely on his legs because he's not a great passer. So a great introduction of Taysom Hill as the starting quarterback, and based on his relationship, as we all know, it's no secret that he and Sean Payton get along really well, and Payton calling him Steve Young, actually. The potential's there. I see this happening, so I'm going to keep it.
All right, I'll go next on this tweet or delete bold statement concept. The question of the day: the Jets will win a game this season. I'm not going to tweet that. Now, look, particularly I need them to lose in 2 weeks. Last year I walked into MetLife confident. Oh, man, I had swagger. I walk in all my Raiders gear head to toe, and I had a 10-year-old kid trash talk me the entire game while he watched the Jets kick my butt. I get it, but look at the schedule there. Miami, Vegas, Seattle, the Rams, Cleveland, and the Patriots. They've literally got a gauntlet there. The only shot that they've got at winning a game is that New England just mails it in week 17. Every other one of those games not only matters to playoff seeding, but they're teams that are substantially better than the Jets. So I can't find a win on the schedule.
Yeah, I have a hard time finding one too, Fitz. And, the injuries have piled up. I think it's going to be Joe Flacco for a while longer. But Trevor Lawrence is sweet, Jets fans, so hope abounds if you can just stay the course. Just 6 more losses, just 6 more. And Trevor Lawrence is sitting there waiting for you.
All right, next up, Field. You get the next big statement.
Okay, the next one is if the Chargers had started Justin Herbert all the way back in week 1, they'd be in playoff contention. No, I'm going to delete that. Come on. Nobody loves Justin Herbert more than I do, except for maybe Chargers GM Tom Telesco and Chargers fans. That being said, they started them in week 2, right? They win in week 1, by the way. They beat the Bengals in a game that was ugly, but still they won. So Justin Herbert is ridiculous. The guy is absurd. He's going to shatter some rookie records. I'm fired up about what he is going to be for the Chargers going forward. But the bottom line is that the rest of this team finds ways to keep them in games for the worse, right? They had a chance, lose the game yesterday, but that game was closer than it needed to be as the Jets got the football back with about 3 minutes to go, down by 8 points. So the Chargers are going to be just fine with Justin Herbert in the long run. They just got to get better around him.
All right, so let's get one more of these, and we'll throw to Diana on this one. All right, this is all Eagles, and we can actually go to our buddy, Kevin Negandhi, who tweeted about the Eagles, and he said, my biggest fear is maybe this is who Carson Wentz is. 2017, long gone. Last 2 years have hurt him badly with hero ball due to offensive line injuries and lack of playmakers on the roster. So I ask you, Diana, tweet it or delete it, the Eagles need to move on from Carson Wentz.
Tweet it, retweet it, share it. Put it on a meme, put it on a GIF, make up an emoji, do anything you possibly can. I've hit a point with this Eagles team, with this Eagles offense. I have moved past believing that the Carson Wentz, who we do see little windows of brilliance and athleticism and just a great all-around quarterback, in the smallest windows, though. I want to see a full game where he's excellent, and it's just he's struggling. It's not working anymore. I think Philly fans specifically, they're antsy. They want to get another Super Bowl already, And I think the honeymoon is over. The honeymoon is over at this point in believing that Carson's the guy. And I don't want to, add some more to this, but I mean, he didn't even win the Super Bowl for them. So I don't know why they're so in love with him. Look, we feel we can get into how much they invested in him, obviously financially, and what they've done to try to build around him. But I think at this point, Philly's got to recognize that he's not the guy.
Yeah, quickly, I'll just say, ultimately, the best NFL teams are able to identify errors they've made and rectify them rather than falling into this trap where we put so much into it, we got to ride the wave here. We'll see what happens in Philly, but it would be a bold move to move on from him. But the results are the results right now, Fitz.
Well, we don't know anything about Jalen Hurts. That's the only thing I'll say. They do still have a shot at the division. That's all I'll say. All right, let's go to our next. We like to do this every week, a little picture of this action. We give you some of the best images from social media around the NFL from the weekend, and it starts with Cam Newton. I mean, great fashion always starts with Cam Newton, as Cam, I think he sort of decided that he was going to go with the Price is Right mountain climber look field. What do you think? You rocking this look? You like this?
Of course I'm not rocking it, Fitz. I will just say this. While about, 0.0001% of the population can actually make this work, Cam might be one of that small, tiny group of people. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. A little bit too much for my taste. What do you think, Diana?
Yeah, I can't unsee this field. But by the way, the person who tweeted this, I don't know what their handle is. I can't see it. How did they have the eye for that? Like, how did this person go? You know what this reminds me of? On The Price is Right, that one game with the mountain climber. Soon as that went out there, and I saw that yesterday, it was. This is exactly what he was going for. Whoever his stylist is either pulling a prank on him, or they're going for this, which I think they're going for it, which, Cam, he loves to be different, so why not?
I mean, I think you're right about that. Very little what he does fashion-wise, he's not fully involved in. So I think he knew exactly what he was doing, and frankly, I love all of it. All right, let's see, Diana, what your thoughts are on some Kyle Rudolph cleats. He went with some Mamba mentality cleats. I can't speak today, for Kyle Rudolph. What do you think?
I feel like we've seen a lot of awesome sort of tributes to Kobe. And I mean, this one has been one of my favorite. I think first of all, they just look cool. Just the colors, and obviously playing into Minnesota's purple there and the Lakers, and it works. I like these were hot.
Yeah, I actually like them too. Let's look at some other tweets here, Field. What do you think? Jarvis Landry went with some Allen Iverson cleats, which is significant only because the Browns played in Philly. So it's a little bit of a
against Philly, yes. Yeah. But still, it was kind of a power move. And I got to tell you what, Jarvis Landry not having an extensive year in the stat book here, Fitz. However, he is bringing the swag, and the Browns are 7-3. Good for you, Jarvis Landry. And anytime you can get AI, the answer involved, I'm in.
Yeah, let's go to the next one we've got here. Cam Jordan FaceTiming his family before the game, which I used to always do that before concerts. I used to always FaceTime Sonny. So, I'm in for that. But, Diana, check out the outfit. I mean, he went old school Michael with the full fro. I mean, you digging this look?
Yes, he is incredible. And I'm such a FaceTime fan in general, but obviously with COVID has really changed the way I think we all communicate, and FaceTime is the way to go when you miss your people. And I mean, his family can't come to the games anymore. So this is adorable. And of course, I mean, that whole locker room, every locker room is into music, but the Saints are insane when it comes to their music, whether it's pregame, postgame, they've got their own DJ. They take that thing to another level, and they play Michael Jackson all the time.
While we're talking some fashion here, let's take a little look at Joe Burrow. Obviously, a lot of hard stuff for everybody to see with Joe Burrow yesterday, but this was a fantastic moment. He always looks good, Field, but notice the nuance of the field of the SpongeBob square right there. He's got the little pocket square with a little bit of SpongeBob. Field, you buying this?
Of course I am. I'm just really bummed about Joe Burrow, but I love the homage to SpongeBob. He's been doing this for a while now, bringing that sort of heat. So good on you, Joe Burrow.
Well, and with that being said, obviously the moment we all saw Diana, Chase Young here going in and giving his condolences to Joe as he's on the field suffering with a terrible knee injury.
Yeah, that obviously is crushing news, and every single person felt that yesterday watching, one of the young superstars having to deal with that, and we'll just have to see when he comes back. Hopefully, best case scenario, he'll be back for next season, but it's obviously going to be up to Joe and the Bengals on what the smart move is, because we know they found his guy. He's the future. There's no need to rush him until he's healthy, certainly. But we know that the Bengals are thankful that Joe Burrow is part of their organization, and it's fitting because, guys, we've got Thanksgiving this week, which had us start thinking about food already. Fortunately, Fitz, take us through your top 5 side dishes.
Okay, when it comes to food takes, I steal the technology because everybody at ESPN knows that my food takes are trash. So, I'm taking it from Field, and it's time for the thing. The top Thanksgiving sides ranked 5 to 1. I'm going to start this thing off, and look, this is going to cause some reaction. I get it, but at number 5 comes mashed potatoes. Now, I'm not a big mashed potatoes guy most of the year, but on Thanksgiving and Christmas, I like to have the mashed potatoes, so I'm in for that. We'll put mashed potatoes in at number 5. We'll stick with potatoes, but we'll go with the sweet potatoes in number 4 because everybody knows I like my sweets anyway. You put a little bit of brown sugar on some sweet potatoes and you've got a little bit of decadence. I'm all in for it. This is where things get controversial, though, Field and Diana, because at number 3, I'm going mac and cheese. All right, and now let me just be clear. I grew up with not much in my family, and so we had one box of mac and cheese for the whole family to eat for the day. Okay. I am a respecter of mac and cheese, right? But I'm a Kraft mac and cheese guy. Like, I don't need your fancy, any of those things. Like, I want blue box mac and cheese, and on the holidays, because I'm particularly bougie on the holidays, instead of making it with milk or water, as I made growing up, I make it with heavy cream and a little bit of butter. Let me tell you, it gets decadent, but it's blue box all the way. Blue box, or don't come at me at all.
You're actually doing okay so far, Fitz.
So far? Okay.
Okay.
Number 2 is stuffing. Or dressing. If you put it in the bird, it's stuffing. If you don't, it's dressing. Look at me with my cooking knowledge. But I'm a fan of it, and I only eat it a couple times. And number 1, because it goes on everything, is gravy. And I make my gravy from scratch every Thanksgiving. It's a very important part for me. Like, I've got to get the gravy perfect. That's the last, while the turkey's resting for 20 minutes, I'm all in the gravy. Important notes here. I don't want green beans at all. Like, keep the healthy food away from me. Cranberry sauce is trash. Brussels sprouts are overrated. And pie in general is an abomination. So it doesn't even belong on the list. Now I will throw it to you for your thoughts. Field?
Okay, there are a lot of things to dissect in this list. I'll try to make it brief. But gravy as the top side? Like, you use gravy to pour on to the sides, not a top side, Fitz. Plus, gravy has a lot of variance. It's got to be just the right level of, like, not too soupy, but not too creamy. There's a very sweet spot. Not sure that I trust you to make the gravy to perfection. And by the way, you were, like, hesitant about putting macaroni and cheese third. Why? Everybody loves macaroni.
Well, no, but because it's very specific. Like, if you give me your fancy, I've got 18 cheeses in this, like, I don't want that. Like, I want blue box, straight up, like, hey, hit me up. But blue box, straight up, only that, nothing but that.
I'm an equal opportunity mac and cheese consumer. Diana, why don't you skewer Fitz's list? Because let's be honest, we've both seen better.
So I went through a practice run the other day of making a gravy. So Field, I'm in your corner here with, it has to be a really good gravy. You can't mess with it. Mine tasted like a mix between glue and mayonnaise. So it didn't really work out. So obviously nobody wants that on Thanksgiving. But to make that your number 1, that is the trashiest take you've ever had on this show.
I mean, but how is this up for discussion? Like, gravy goes on everything. Like, the thing of it is, the rest of these are sides, right? But gravy, at the end, you can put all of it on there and then just take the gravy and pour it out. Like, let's face it, turkey, not all that great. Turkey with gravy, spectacular.
Diana, I'll let you have another word because I'm still mad over here.
At our Thanksgiving, it makes zero sense. So our family's Italian, so we actually have lasagna and like pasta dishes mixed in there. So the turkey's there on the table, but nobody really eats it. I mean, like, I think like one of my uncles eats the whole thing, but we get filled basically from all the Italian food. So that list of yours, like, I would add meatballs to that as a great side. I would also add antipasto, which is just like a mix of all different meats and cheeses. It's the background of my Twitter. If you see a great picture of it, that's actually from Thanksgiving as my background. But look, most people don't do it that way. Most people are normal and have a list similar to yours. The one thing I do agree with you on this is this mac and cheese take. I'm with you. I'm not a big, like, try my grandma's mac and cheese with 15 different cheeses from 7 countries. Like, give me just that basic standard cold winter day lunch that you used to have as a kid type of mac and cheese. So I'm going to go with you there. I would move mashed potatoes to number one, though. That would be my number one favorite side.
Yeah, and by the way, mashed potatoes, like versatility definitely shines through there. You can put gravy on them. You can put just salt and pepper on them. You can throw some butter on them.
Wait, so somebody hands you mashed potatoes with nothing on them and you're pleased?
I'll take mashed by themselves if they're done right, but we have something more controversial on this board, or more specifically, not on this board. You forgot pie. Now, most people during Thanksgiving, they debate pumpkin pie versus pecan pie versus maybe even blueberry or apple, which I tend to eat more in the summer, a little more seasonally appropriate, all right? You put no pie on the board. Give me some pumpkin pie, give me some pecan pie, because there's nothing better than accelerating your food coma, which is induced by the tryptophan, the word I say just like 3 times a year, only around Thanksgiving, than a little extra pie to just fit in that final shelf of your stomach.
Diana, talk some sense into him. Anything pie can do, cake can do better, right? We can agree on this, that pumpkin pie, like pie crust is awful, and like I'd rather clean my floors with it than eat it. So I don't want, and don't give me like, all the years I spent in country music, I've been in every city that has somebody, oh, this is my grandma's favorite pie recipe. No, your grandma's pie is trash. I don't care what you say, it's all bad. Pie crust is awful.
I go pumpkin pie every year. It's the only time I eat it, but I always have this same thought after I have it on Thanksgiving, which is, why don't I eat this more often? Why am I not like Mel Kiper
That's
and
right,
have it
Mel
for
Kiper.
breakfast with a little bit of whipped cream?
That's God.
Like, y'all need to learn about
Team pumpkin pie.
Hey, you know what, Diana? You're right. 2 things for you, Fitz, and then we can wrap this up. Respect pumpkin pie and respect grandmas a little more. Way too much heat being thrown at grandmas by you.
And look, I love, everybody's grandma's a wonderful person. They just all make bad desserts when they make pie, like pumpkin cake and pumpkin cheesecake better. Okay, if there's anything I know, apparently, Diana, there's somebody slightly less famous than I am that also has terrible food takes for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you wish. There's nothing terrible about TB12 on the football field these days, but I'm not so sure about this. Okay, so here are some of the recipes from that famous TB12 cookbook. Remember when that came out? Lentil loaf, mushroom gravy, spinach and artichoke dip, roasted Brussels sprouts and carrots, mashed potatoes without butter. I mean, that's just, you're asking for just a dry mouth with that. But it's Tom Brady, and we know that he's done a really darn good job of taking care of himself. We should probably take some of those recipes and apply them to some of our diets, guys. All right, so we got a big game tonight. This feels like it could potentially be an NFC Championship preview, and we're just getting a little look, or maybe this is a little dress rehearsal of it. Fitz, I want to start with you. For you, does it feel that big to you? Do you think this is something that we can see?
It's hard for me, Diana, because, I mean, obviously these teams have had a few moments during the course of the season that I think were questionable. The Rams, they look like the Rams did a couple of years ago, but there have also been moments where I sit there and say, man, are they that great? Like, I don't look at either of those teams. When we talk about the class of the AFC, for example, when you talk about Kansas City and I'll say Pittsburgh, those two teams,
yeah,
I think they have a lot less question marks than both of these teams have. So as good as Brady's been of late and as much as the Buccaneers have rolling for him, I don't know that I'd call this an NFC Championship preview. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll go that far as well. The Saints just kind of have me cornered right now. But what I will say is really interesting is that whenever we talk about the Rams over the past few years, oftentimes it's about the high-flying offense and Sean McVay-led scheme. And the Bucs, all the attention always goes to the offense because you got Tom Brady and Gronk and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Antonio Brown. This feels like the potential for a defensive battle tonight. 2 very underrated defenses. Actually, they're not underrated anymore. Who am I kidding? 2 defenses that are playing at a high level, Diana. I cannot wait for this game in like 16 minutes, 17 minutes. Not good at math.
Yes. All right, so let's get down to it then.
I'm ready.
You guys want to make your picks?
Sure do.
I feel good, yeah.
You guys want to do this? So before we get into it, I feel like I always need to set this up that I am undefeated this season with the picks.
Weird.
So I am expecting some sort of prize at the end of the year because I have a feeling I will continually be undefeated. So, Field, since you're wrong a lot, we'll start with you. What do you got?
Wow. Diana, how do you really feel? I will take the Bucs at home, hold serve, Tom Brady. It's always very difficult for me to bet against Tom.
Look, I'm going to pick it up from here, and I'm still wondering if our fact checkers can actually verify anything we've just told about them. I'm going to take the Buccaneers as well in this game, mostly because if I have to make a decision in two great defensive teams about which way to go, I'm going to lean to whichever quarterback I think is better, and we all know which quarterback is better in this game. So I'll go, even though it was a fumble, there's no such thing as a tuck, I will still go Tampa Bay.
I think Tom Brady may still haunt Sean McVay and Jared Goff, and this is their chance. This is an opportunity. So I've got confidence in Sean McVay's offense and his brilliance in dialing up something that's going to really, really challenge Todd Bowles' defense. So I am going to go with the LA Rams tonight on Monday Night Football. What do you guys think?
I think that you're going to maybe potentially not keep your undefeated streak going.
I think either way, you'll still be undefeated next week. I mean, that's for sure. So I'm switching no, I'm not.
Well, guys, I am so thankful to be able to work with you guys every Monday night. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone watching on their phones, at home, wherever you are. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Monday Night Tailgate. Enjoy the game between the Rams and the Bucs in Tampa Bay, Florida. We will see you all next Monday. Don't forget to catch the action on ESPN in just a few minutes. Kickoff tonight.